We're live here on YouTube. It is a Thursday morning, and I am Rich Lieberman. This is the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. Look, there are certain things that I will say, report, provide an opinion, and that's what it is. It's an opinion based on various things. And I don't believe Greg Papa was sincere in his performance on Wednesday, in which on his KNBR show, he cried. I think it was a performance. In fact, I know it was a performance. I could tell. What's the deal, you're asking? Well, he took a ride over to the Oakland Coliseum the previous evening, and I guess he decided he wanted to see where he worked for many, many years. We were at, his Raider broadcast duties, or the fact that he spent 14 years doing television for the Oakland A's. He also worked the Warriors, but we'll take this situation with regards to his work as a Raiders and A's broadcaster. Now, look, I used to respect Papa quite a bit, and I'm going to get into the details of what I thought was a real fake cry. Used to really respect him, and he's still in high regard amongst many people, professional people, play-by-play people, broadcasters. Some of you fans love him. That's great. I don't really care for him anymore. I think his touchdown call, as I've said repeated many a times, is outrageous and is kind of a doofusy and amateur and beyond being a homer. It's just ludicrous sounding. I grew up with various people. I've stated this before: Bill King and Lon Simmons and Hank Greenwald and Ted Robinson. And I think you could be enthusiastic. I think you could be a credible homer, no matter what type of play-by-play call you ascribe to. But I think there's a time and a place. And most importantly, I think there's a moment that you go crazy. Papa's not my cup of tea. And if I've probably lost a friend, we weren't really that friends, but I don't care. I'm not here to make friends. I'm in the stage of my life where I'm doing this based upon my feelings, my sincerity in some regards, and this is one of those. You could agree, you could disagree, but that's not what we're talking about today. On KNBR, where he does a talk show, and he's ragged on the Oakland A's since he became a tonsil on a station which is the flagship for the San Francisco Giants. All well, good and well. No issues with that. But he has very weird tendencies, does Papa. He does. And the fact that he cried because he went over to be witness to the environment over there, and he said he cried, and he began to cry, I don't think was sincere, especially when the fact is just a couple of minutes later, he's laughing with his imbecile co-host, the guy by the name of John Lund, who's another imbecile, a fake person who laughs just to laugh, and he laughs at Papa's jokes, even when they're not that funny. And when he's groveling at Papa's feet by telling him how wonderful he was, and he rated it as if he was watching a rock concert, I don't believe this guy, Mr. Papa, was sincere. He may have thought he was sincere. He may have thought that by crying, or that he happened to cry, I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. And by the way, I've cried many a times here. I do cry. It's okay to cry, especially if you're a man. But to do it and to utilize it as a performance, which is what Papa was doing, to me is fake. So could I be wrong on this deal? Of course I could be. I'm giving you my opinion. I don't think it was real. I think it was performed. I think not only do I think, I know. Why? Because they played it all over the place, not only on that station, KNBR. It was orchestrated, it was performed, it was a buddy buddy move. And if it turns out he really did cry, I don't care. I still don't believe it. There's sincerity, there's spontaneity, and all that. I can tell. There's a lot of things I'm not that good at. Lots. There are a lot of good things, a lot of things that I'm very good at. And I can tell spontaneity and true emotional takes and actions. This was not one of those. This was not one of those. And I don't give a fuck if it's the best person in the world or the most accurate forecaster or human developer, whatever, shrink, rabbi, priest, expert, whomever that is, saying, "Oh, it was completely sincere, Rich. How can you say he wasn't? How can you say he wasn't being real?" Well, I can just say it. Quote me. Rich Lieberman thinks that it was a performance. Again, Greg Papa chose to cry. He cries. This was not a sincere cry. This was somebody playing to the microphone who giggled not 2 minutes later, which he did. A couple of factoids. One, as I just indicated, this is a guy who, ever since he came over to the KNBR flagship station, which carries the Giants, he's part of the 49ers broadcast team, has ragged on Oakland teams. I'm not saying that as a precursor to his performance, in which he tries to convey that he was really, really crying and emotionally spent. He may have been fine, but not the way he indicated himself. He's ragged on the A's. He made the A's sound like a bunch of putzes, which frankly they are. And then the Raiders. He got fired by the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. Mark Davis fired him. So I don't believe anything he says has any credibility towards the Raiders anymore, which is perfectly normal. He's become an employee. He's paid by the San Francisco 49ers, and he's paid by Cumulus, which owns KNBR. So in his want to try to convey that he was just emotionally spent and upset and overtaken by these thoughts after he left the Coliseum the other night, he may feel that way, but to cry and to put on a performance which was not even that good, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. You can agree, you can disagree. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. I'm giving you my take because that's why you come here. I am Rich Lieberman. This is the Thursday Media Pulse. We'll see you later.